Hello, welcome guys. Dr. Pierre, your favorite board certified internist, here for another edition of the Lunch and Learn. Again, shout out to our replay viewers who will be catching this later on today. Much appreciated. For those who are going to be catching up on it live, we're going to give you some time. I'm going to do my same homework thing I do where I kind of share it to my personal page, and we'll get started. Today we are going to be talking about a little bit more on autism, and again, if you caught a couple days ago, the Facebook Live I did where I kind of discussed it in the sense of the diagnosis and the and how is it from a fatherhood perspective, especially dealing with the one child, my oldest daughter, who is autistic. And today I wanted to kind of give even a little bit more personal touch on it, especially when we talk about how I'm raising, because I have 3 children total, with my twins, my youngest twins. They're almost about a year and like 8 months now. And for them, kind of seeing my daughter having to adjust to new siblings and share toys and those types of things has been very interesting and a very telling dynamic. I think one of the things, especially kind of when I look at some of the differences of how I kind of treat my oldest daughter and even my 2 younger ones, is because my oldest daughter, one of her big things was like the delay in speech delay, and from a communication aspect. So a lot of our communication was more built on the actions that we did. So like I'd have to, like if she wanted milk, I'd have to show her milk, point milk until she gets to the point where she understands milk is what I want. When I want to drink, she doesn't say all of that. And those signs, but like kind of watching my twins kind of grow up and seeing how much more verbal they are, especially at an early age, definitely was eye-opening for me, because then that kind of gave that stark contrast and say, oh, okay, wow, I didn't realize you guys talked as much as you did, because for our daughter, she wasn't very talkative. So she would, she mouthed a lot of things. She was, like I said, she was very active, jumping around, couldn't tell her nothing from a social construct. She was, she liked being around people, liked being around us, of course, but liked being around people, and that wasn't really her thing. But when it came to, just kind of to verbalize and, be comfortable in her situation, like those were some of the telling differences that I already see in my twins from a different standpoint. Like my youngest daughter, she talks a mile a minute. Like you can't stop her from talking, which is definitely one of the contrasts I've had to learn, kind of raising them both. Because with my oldest daughter, because I was used to her not talking a lot. There be times where we're just kind of doing our thing, and I just kind of almost forget that we need to even have a conversation, because we had gotten so down packed as far as our mannerisms and our behaviors and knowing what she wants, knowing when she wants it, that having to kind of relearn that, like I had to like be even force her to kind of even be more verbal as we need her to be, was definitely a learning transition for me. So what happens sometimes when I'm dealing with my youngest twins, sometimes I forget like I'm supposed to be like gaga goo goo, and they'll do that, talking with them, because like they're just asking me a mile a minute now, like they're in this what's that stage. Everything they want to know what that is. So we're like having to like almost parent like 2 different styles, which is very common in families with autistic children, because again, just because you have the one autistic children doesn't mean you'll have multiple autistic children, right? So learning to have to kind of balance your parenting styles to make sure that you're benefiting not only your child who is autistic, but your child who isn't, was something that I definitely had to and still have to work on, improving and getting better. Hey, Chessie, thank you for joining. Chessie, we're talking about my daughter and my youngest twins, as far as different parenting styles I've had to learn, especially with my oldest daughter being autistic, and my youngest daughter and son really not showing any signs for any type of delay, at least at this point, moving forward. So that was definitely something like I had to, be very mindful of, and just be more vigilant and more deliberate when I'm talking. Especially now, like I said, I talked about it on Tuesday, where now my daughter goes to Palmy School of Autism, and like I said, they've been like flat out amazing, right? So they've gotten her to be much more verbal and much more deliberate in what she wants and how she wants it, and so again, she's starting to learn now. Hey, I want this, I want that. Or she'll gesture, like she'll point at the milk, or she'll go get the milk herself. So it's definitely been very interesting, kind of seeing that transition from having a kid who really wasn't verbal, really wasn't talking very much, to one who, again, like I said, like almost talks too much. So now we gotta like tell her, like, it's okay, be quiet, be like, relax. Now to the point where, like, now my daughter, like, for now, like, I don't know, especially my parents out there, the two movies like I've had to watch probably a million times, right, actually it's the third one now. Frozen, like I had to watch that. Like I lost count the amount of times I had to watch Frozen. Then it was Finding Dory, and now it's Moana. And for those who haven't watched Moana, it's actually a great movie, even for the adults. So you go ahead and watch up on Moana. Shout out to Disney. But it was definitely very interesting to kind of see, like, now, even with my daughter, my oldest daughter, again, watches those movies. She sings along with them. She talks with them. She knows a lot of those things word for word. Because from an intelligence standpoint, and that was something I had to learn too, especially when I first read and started, having to read up. Hey, Amanda, hey, thank you for joining. When I had to start reading up on autism and just, what to expect as a parent, right? Because unfortunately, there wasn't really a lot of information. There was a lot of like broken up information at one website and another website, or one foundation, another foundation, but there wasn't really like one pinpoint area where I could like, okay, hey, now your child's autistic, what do you do now? Like, there wasn't anything of that out there. So, just trying to, get all these bits and pieces of information together, and kind of seeing like, okay, all right, well, as she kind of progresses and moves along, especially from a developmental standpoint, these are some of the highlights that we're going to see. These are some of the, the low lights that we're going to see with her. And these are some of the obstacles that you may run into as we move forward. And seeing, my daughter now, like, again, to the point where every year she does these evaluation type tests from a developmental standpoint to kind of see where she grades at. And I mean, to see comparison to her scores before she started the school and her scores afterwards is like, pretty much phenomenal. And even though now she's in the school of autism, but like there's been always plans that she could possibly transition, especially when she's ready, and from like, I think she moves up in grade level to even transition to like a regular school, which is something that if you would have asked us that 2.5 years ago, we would have probably like, probably not. Even though my wife's still probably I'm always still going back and forth on whether we're going to put her in a regular school. So we're not even sure. She's thinking homeschool. So we're not even sure as far as that aspect of it. But again, I think it is very nice to kind of see like, oh, wow, she's made so much improvements that a regular school is definitely possible. So definitely excited, on those types of news there, because it was definitely, a great sign of, something that we love to hear, especially when we're dealing with autism. And again, like I said, I talked about it on Tuesday. My wife is actually going to be here. We're thinking next Thursday. We're gonna do like I'm not sure if she's gonna come to the office, or we're gonna do like a like a picture-in-picture type thing for the Facebook Live, and we're just gonna talk about autism, and she's gonna be talking about some of the comorbidities, and then she's gonna be talking about some of the stuff that she does as well, and some of the things that she's going to be providing, especially for parents who dealing with kids with autism, and kind of I think for one thing, trying to get them to not like hit some of the hurdles that we had to hit, because again, even though I was a physician, whatever, and she was in that field, there were still hurdles and obstacles that we kind of had to go over. And move past, just to get to the next level as well. So definitely excited to hear from her next week. And she has a blog post coming out tomorrow. So please, and I'm gonna get on her, because she was supposed to write it Wednesday, but she didn't. And that's okay. So we didn't get a post on Wednesday, but she's writing one. She's already pretty much written for Friday, to talk about a little bit of her point as well. And what else are we doing? Okay, so again, obviously, April being a very happy month for me because it's National Autism Awareness Month. There's a lot of other awareness month things that that we're going to be touching on with subsequent Facebook lives this month. Child Abuse Prevention Month is here. Looks like, of course, National Minority Health Month. So we'll probably do a full week on that as far as minority health. Sexual Assault and Awareness Month is also this time. Actually, as we speak, we're during National Public Health Week, which is from the 3rd to the 9th. So maybe I'll have to say the 9th will be Friday. Maybe Tuesday I'll talk a little bit about public health and why I think public health is the best, program ever, especially if you're a physician, especially if you're a physician who does community work. Hey Pam, thank you for joining. If you don't know, that's actually my teacher from elementary school. Like, it's amazing. And in fact, we're actually going to be doing a talk at her school. I actually have to talk with her to see what their plans are. But I definitely have some plans in that regards to kind of talk to some of her high school students. So again, we're gonna have a nice month. Again, like I said, if you happen to catch my Facebook Live last night, you know that I actually am starting my private Facebook group. So again, if you should see a picture on my Facebook page on how to get to it. And if you're watching this on YouTube, my Facebook page is facebook.com/Dr. Barry Pierre. And you'll get access to it. And then I'm also giving my free ebook away. And then you'll see a link to my Facebook group. Go ahead and request to join. Go in there, and like I said, I plan to do a lot more things specifically for my Facebook group because as we can see, like when we do the Facebook Lives are great, but a lot of times just from a time constraint and everything else, a lot of people really can't get to it. So I wanted to kind of, and then I don't want it to be kind of lost in like your sea of a timeline because there's 1,000 things going in your timeline. So I wanted to start putting more information specifically in private Facebook group, which I started just to kind of get the information out there and get it directly to you guys, especially if I write a blog or if I do a video, if I do a speech somewhere, and I want to make sure that you guys have first access to it. So that's why we started the private group. So if you not had a chance to join the private Facebook group, go ahead and do so. The instructions should be at a post earlier than this, but if you want, if I give me a second, I can actually just put the instructions in this comment section. Give me a second. Hey Maria, thank you for joining. I'm going to, and it's very easy. All you have to do is text Dr. Barry's group to 44222. And you should see a comment pull up real quick. And once you do that, so pretty much we're going to text Dr. Barry's group to 44222. Once you do that, then you'll get not only will you get a link to my my Facebook group, but as a bonus, right, for joining the private group, because again, I like to give things away than take. I think that's really the crux of everything, right? Give more away than you receive, and then abundance will come to you. So I wanted to kind of give that out, and so I'm also giving you my ebook as well. So go ahead and text Dr. Barry's group to 222, and then you'll get access to the private Facebook group, and you'll get the free ebook. You'll get an ebook that I'm selling, but you'll get it for free, just because your support is greatly appreciated. So again, I didn't want to just kind of recap on what we talked about. We talked a little bit more about autism and the effects that it has, again, almost like a part 2 of Tuesdays of how it had on me from a fatherhood perspective. And we kind of talked about the compare and contrast of what it's like raising a child with autism, and then raising other children who don't really seem to be having that developmental delay, and understanding, making sure that you're maximizing your parenthood and your parenthooding skills that both sets of parties kind of benefit. So again, I don't want to keep you guys on here long. It's been amazing. Go ahead and, if you want, go ahead and click the videos tab on my Facebook profile. You'll actually see the Facebook Live from last night. Because I want to start doing more night ones, but I'll probably leave the night ones maybe for my private Facebook group. So if I do night Facebook groups, Facebook Lives will probably be for the private Facebook group as well. But of course, we're still going to be doing the Tuesdays and Thursdays. We're not going to, the Tuesdays and Thursdays is not going away. I actually love doing the Tuesdays and Thursdays one from an educational standpoint. And then the nightly ones that we'll start adding, or weekend ones, just whenever we add an additional one, we'll make sure we kind of, give the people who join the private Facebook group, a reason and reason to be joining. So I'm definitely excited for that. You guys have a great and blessed day. And I will see you guys possibly next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, we're going to be talking about public health. Next Tuesday, we'll do touch on public health. And tomorrow on the blog, we'll be having another guest post written by my wife, Maria Davis. And who's a licensed mental health counselor, and she's going to be talking about autism as well. So you guys have a great and blessed day. I will see y'all later. Bye. Let me see. PBS Kids will start airing. Oh, that is very nice. I love that. Thanks, Pam. PBS Kids will start airing autism-related episodes of shows like that. Would be like amazing, right? Because again, I think it is something that sorry to keep you guys a little bit longer, but. So we're going to drop that on me, so I had to kind of say that. So April 10th. All right, perfect. I'm excited about that. That actually would be very good. So Ms. Wiggum talks about how PBS Kids will actually start airing autism-related episodes, like Sesame Street, Arthur, to kind of help kids understand what the autism spectrum is, and that's like amazing, right? Because again, I think, and honestly, I think a lot of parents would probably learn just as much from that as well. But it's very good to show those kids what it's like, because again, like if you put these kids in a lineup, you wouldn't know if these kids are autistic, right? It's really until they have to start being in those social constructs and being in these social settings that you start noticing, like, okay, wow, this person, reacts differently than this person here. That's when you really start noticing a difference. Or this person isn't talking as this person, or from a developmental standpoint, they are really hitting at markers. So I'm actually very excited about that. April 10th. Okay, yeah, next week. So hopefully by next, because I'll be next week. Is that the? So if by Tuesday, definitely by Thursday, we'll be. I'm gonna see if I can catch one of those ones there, and I'll be very excited about that. Amanda says that Julie, the new puppet's name has. Oh, right, okay, yeah. So all right, so now I'm gonna be hype to watch Sesame Street, or whatever that show that's on. And again, if you're a parent, you already know we watch cartoons way more than we even want to admit. Because like I said, I watch cartoons every single day. Like I think I watch, like I'm almost at nauseum. Hey Jose, thank you for joining. I'm at nauseum at the amount of cartoons I watch. But that's what you kind of do when you got kids. From that perspective. Oh yeah, please send that link for us. So again, guys, now I'm gonna get off for real. You guys have a great, blessed day. Again, I will see you Tuesday. If you had not had a chance, go ahead and join the private Facebook group. So we'll have more discussions, and we could talk about the Sesame Street and autism in the private Facebook group. I will see you guys later. Bye.